God, family, country. The Olympics. What is it this time? There's another update. Well, it's been lurking around. You just haven't seen it reported by the mainstream news, and it'd be a wonderful, wonderful story. But another update and evidence this time. I'm going to present you evidence that's going to put the Olympics, Thomas Jolly, Barbara Bush, and all their co-conspirators online, all of their co-signers into the liar, liar circle. So let's get into this. Let's not even waste it. I mean, you've heard so much about it. We're going to run through this really quickly. We're going to give you as much information about the updates as we can. I'm going to move this a little bit because I don't like the way it's looking. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, let's go. Let's look at it. Let's open it up. Okay. And is going to be Barbara Bush. But let's get into that first. The smoking gun, meaning the person who alludes to what all of the Christians have been telling you. Bishop Barron and many others. Even though it's quite obvious, right? It's obvious at this point. Look, we know that this is the Last Supper. But they tried to play you, right? They tried to give you the okey doke, tried to give you the opty-wop. They tried to finesse you. But you knew. But they just lied about it in public. We all know people like that. But we didn't have the evidence because obviously it's right here, the evidence, but they fused other religions into it, which made them say, well, what is it really? But everybody knows you and I know what's going on, right? Tupac had a verse that reminds me, he says, you could tell those people whatever you want, but you and I know what's going on. And that's exactly what's happening here. You and I, we know what's going on. So let's get back to this. I'm going to show you developing information here. And we're going to start right here. So let's at first find out, who is Barbara Bush? She's this French DJ. And I got to bring this up because this is part of the story. So she's filing a legal complaint after Paris Olympics opening ceremony sparks online abuse. So according to her lawyer, and her performance as part of the Paris Olympics opening ceremony has led to threats of death, torture, and rape. Can't condone that. I'm not for it. Her lying about the situation has probably made it worse for her because now she's a liar. But again, do I approve of anybody raping, torturing, or killing her? No, not at all. I'm not surprised in this world, the way this world is. Her lying, when everybody knows that you're lying, that creates even more aggression and animosity in addition to them just being upset anyway. So it's a very toxic situation for sure that Thomas Jolly has created. I mean, he was the inventor of this. So he has created this. And his lies, it's really funny. I'm seeing situations, and they're not as big as this, but where lies become toxic and become bigger. And in the end, the lie made it worse for you, made everything worse. And that's what's happening here. So let's read a little bit. It looks like Barbara Bush has been threatened with death, torture, and rape, and has also been the target of numerous anti-Semitic. That means that she's being slandered because she's Jewish, homophobic, sexist, and grossophobic. Grossophobic is if you say anything about fat people, people that are big. Can you say fat? I don't even know anymore, her lawyer said. So she's facing all of this due to her Christian phobic role in the mockery, the blasphemous mockery of the Last Supper. Interesting that she's getting the phobics, and she kind of started the whole phobia with the Christian phobia performance. So let's read a little bit more. So she's 43 years old, and she wore a silver headdress that looked like a halo, And other people, French Catholic bishops were among those who said that Christians have been offended by the performance, and U.S. Donald Trump, ex-president, called it a disgrace. The event's artistic director, Thomas Jolly, said the segment was not inspired by Leonardo da Vinci's painting showing Jesus Christ and his apostles. Are we doing a wordplay? Was it just based on the Last Supper? Or was it based on his fusion of ideas and it just happened to have the Last Supper in there? You have to watch when you're talking to liars the way liars talk. Some of y'all that got played before and had that intense training by having a liar in your life, you already know and can see through this. But again, the fact that people are acting like they can't see through this, it's really mind-boggling. Again, Barbara Bush's online threats, the death, torture, and rape, slandering her, calling her name out her name for whatever, just throwing insults. I'm not here for that, and I don't support that. And I don't have to support that and not like what she did. I can separate the two. You can separate the two. You don't have to be a horrible person too, because then that makes there's no winner. Then now you're the bigger monster, and then now what you're doing is, well, I don't think it could ever be worse than what she's doing, but you guys both look like monsters. So let me explain to you here. I don't wish any ill will on Barbara Bush, and I'm not going to call her any names. I think that what she did was horrible and disrespectful, and she rubbed it in everybody's face, and I'm going to show you that with the evidence, and I think it inflamed an already volatile situation. So let's look at the next part I want to show you, which is Thomas Jolly's statement. And you can read the headline right here. Paris Olympic organizers say they meant no disrespect with the Last Supper tableau. Paris Olympic organizers said they meant no disrespect with the Last Supper tableau. Here we go with the cab talk. So that's how you know people are gonna play you. Paris Olympic organizers apologized to anyone who was offended by a tableau, and it was a half-hearted. It was not a true apology. It's like one of those apologies you make when you get in trouble when you were younger in school or with your mom, and they said say sorry, and you have to technically say sorry, but you want to let the person know that you offended, that you're not really sorry, so you say the sorry in a way that is technically a sorry and an apology, but really is a twist at actually I'm not sorry. And we've all been through that. And I'm going to show you what they said here is that clearly there was never an intention to show disrespect. I want you to pay attention to this part, because the smoking gun, the evidence that I have to show you about this is going to really, these words are going to come back to bite them. But I guarantee you CNN, ABC, MSNBC, KTLA, all these huge networks, they will not report on it. Clearly, there was never an intention to show disrespect to any religious group. On the contrary, I think with Thomas Jolly, we really did try to celebrate community tolerance. Which community? Everybody? Christians. 25% of the earth? 1/4? Really? Looking at the result of the polls that we shared, we believe that the ambition was achieved. If people have taken offense, we are, of course, really, really sorry. Saying, hey, you're offended, but we achieved what we were trying to do. So our mission's good. Yeah, their mission's good, all right, but not the way that you want, not the way that you think. My wish is to be subversive, not to mock or to shock, Jolly said. This guy's a liar. Most of all, I wanted to send a message of love, a message of inclusion, and not at all to divide by disrespecting and mocking the Last Supper. Just a very Christian-phobic look. And I'm just using those words because those are the words that we're using now. Phobic usually means you're afraid of something, but now that we've turned it into anybody that says anything is a phobic. So, these Christian phobics, put on a Christian phobic, blasphemous performance, and kind of hid behind what they did with these word salads that are tailored in a way to say, like, almost nana nana nana, like, in a way. I want to read so I read you the quote, and again, if people have taken any offense, we are of course really, really, really sorry. Okay. How many people are buying that? And here's the thing. Up till right now, I've told you everything that you already know. I'm just giving you an update on everything. But what I'm going to show you now is we're going to start looking at that smoking gun. But before that, I want to show you that the Vatican has finally made a comment. So let's take a look and see what the Vatican is talking about. The Vatican has finally made a comment about the Paris Olympics opening ceremony tableau. The Vatican, in a late response, 8 days, and yeah, they should have got behind this. The truth was out there, especially for someone like them, and the power that they should have and the people they should have showed them this definitely happened. I'm going to show you what happened and give you the evidence and the update, but let's hear what the Vatican had to say. The Vatican said Saturday it deplored the offense caused to Christians by the Olympic Games. Good, because it is the Olympic Games. Let's not get this wrong. They're the ones that are in charge. They are responsible for this opening ceremony, a scene in which evoked Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper and featured drag queens. A week after the storm of criticism erupted around the event, the Holy See issued a statement in French that it was saddened by certain scenes at the opening ceremony and joined those who had been offended. He said, at a prestigious event where the whole world comes together to share common values, there should be no ridiculous allusions to religion, it said. To critics, the scene during the July 26th ceremony evoked Jesus and his apostles. In the Da Vinci's famous painting, it featured DJ and producer Barbara Bush wearing a silver headdress that looked like a halo while flanked by drag artists and dancers. French Catholic bishops said it made a mockery of Christianity. So everybody knows that. And we know that the Vatican did not immediately respond, but I wanted to kind of bring you up to date that they have now officially went on record and them speaking for, the way that Catholicism works is they're speaking on behalf of Catholicism and the Catholics, which Catholics, Orthodox, and the Protestants going on record to say, hey, we're against this. Protestants don't really have that same spokesperson where they're kind of aligned. It's a bunch of fragmented pieces underneath just kind of the name. We can get into that on a different date. And then you have Orthodox. Looks like the Orthodox hierarch condemned blasphemous Olympic opening. So they've already went on record condemning it. They said a number of Orthodox hierarchs from various local churches have responded to the blasphemous display at the opening of the Olympic ceremony. The organizers, who decided to show a drag queen at the Last Supper, offered a disingenuous apology. Did you hear the apology, guys? Look, dude, the apology's whack. Like, it's, hey, we did what we were going to do, and if you're offended, where's their lame apology? So let me give you another update while I'm looking for the apology. So a Paris 2024 spokesperson said, Paris 2024 strongly condemns the cyberbullying that Barbara Bush has been subject to following her performance during the open ceremony. I also don't stand for it. We are standing by her and all the artists who took part in the ceremony and offering them our support. Notice they still haven't offered an apology. When are you going to get it? When are you going to get it? Do you see it now? Oh, somebody's messing with my team. Hey, you know what? Instead of us taking accountability and saying, Barbara, this is on us. This is our fault. We let you do this. We knew this was disrespectful. Thomas Jolly knew this was disrespectful. They're just going to stand behind her and kind of do the thing where we don't address the elephant in the room, the reason why all these things are happening. Not saying that they're right that they're happening, but why they're happening. So we also support Barbara Bush, call for an investigation and charges to be laid against those responsible for these actions. Well, yes, absolutely. You can't threaten people and do whatever you want. Here's something that's funny right here with the Olympics. We are totally opposed to all forms of discrimination and attacks. Do you see it yet? Do you see them snubbing you in front of you by coming to everybody else's aid? We are totally opposed to all forms of discrimination and attacks. Hello? Open ceremony. No, you're not. That are in every way contrary to the Olympic values that promote respect, tolerance, and solidarity. Come on. Do you really think that the Paris 2024 really has values that promote respect, tolerance, and solidarity? I don't think so. Maybe just for certain groups, but inclusively? No. Exclusively? For certain people only? For certain people, certain groups, for sure. But as far as we are totally opposed to all forms, pick some better words. You sound stupid. I mean, really, at the end of the day, you sound stupid. Yes, Barbara should not be getting death threats and rape threats and all of that. And you should condemn that. You should also take some responsibility, Paris 2024. And you should also, Paris 2024, know that if you're going to use the words totally opposed to all forms of discrimination and attacks that are in everywhere contrary to the Olympic values, know that you are going to offend people when you don't give an apology. And I'm going to show you right here the Olympics apology. Here we go. Okay. So let me show you the way that they apologize to you and they apologize to somebody else. And they've done this with North Korea and everybody. And this is how you can tell that they do not care about you. And you need to get that through your thick head that there was no apology and they don't care about what you're going through. And they're going to continue to do whatever they want to do and how they want to do it. So a Paris 2024 spokesman said, let me highlight that for you. They said this: we are totally opposed to all forms of discrimination and attacks that are in every way contrary to Olympic values that promote respect, tolerance, and solidarity. You believe that? And then watch the way that they apologize to you. Clearly, there was never intention to show any disrespect to any religious group. Didn't even say Christians. Didn't even address you. On the contrary, actually, you're wrong. Thomas Jolly did great by celebrating community tolerance. Let me show you some community tolerance again. Mockery of the Last Supper. Looking at the results of the polls that we shared, we believe this ambition was achieved. Exhibit A. All right, you following? This ambition was achieved. If people have taken any offense, whoever those people are, we're, of course, really, really sorry. But if you are, we are totally opposed to all forms of discrimination and attack that are in every way contrary to Olympic values that promote respect, tolerance, and solidarity. Bro, learn. They don't even care about reading the room anymore. Anyways, let's get to this evidence. So now you got the whole page. You got these people that are screaming. It wasn't this Last Supper. It was this Greek God, this blah, 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 blah. You guys, Christians, are always trying to get offended. They're trying to make it about them. It's really weird. Imagine if you told somebody from another group that's very protected, more protected than any racial class, that they would start melting. So it definitely is a two-sided treatment for sure, and it's happening and it's coming. So let me ask you a question though. What if one of the key people in there would prove they were all lying? What if between Barbara, the Olympics, and Thomas Jolly, that one of those who all said that we're tripping were the key, the smoking gun? Would the news investigate if the proof was there? I mean, like, not here's he said, she said, but if we had the proof right now, wouldn't it be the hugest story? right after the Vatican replied, you know what? These guys been lying. The way they do Trump, the way they did Biden when they wanted him out. When they want somebody, they come. I mean, evidence, picture of red-handed, the person being caught, that this is the Last Supper. But just irrefutable that even the people on that side are like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Let's take a look. If there was irrefutable, I want to know. If there was irrefutable proof, I don't believe that they would put it out. I believe I have that irrefutable proof. I believe they would stick to the narrative that it wasn't meant to offend anyone, and it was all about inclusion by creating something that would, of course, offend a quarter of the entire world, Christians. And if we had the Muslims who think it was disrespectful as well, you got more billions there. So you got billions of people, but you don't get the apology. You don't get that we are totally opposed to all forms of discrimination and attack. We support Barbara, could call for investigation. We're standing by her and all the artists. They are not apologizing during the open ceremony. They're not, because these are the people who are the biggest problem. Parish 2024. They're the ones who just allowed it to happen. Knew exactly, when you saw it, everybody knew what that was. Where's the hard evidence? You want the truth, right? Where is that hard evidence? Well, who do you think it is? Paris? Do you think they're the ones? Is it Thomas Jolly or is it Barbara Butch? I'm going to show you right now. Let's look at the evidence. The evidence right here. Is this where we start? Let's start. Thomas Stevenson, thank you for this. I really appreciate it. I want to make sure that you guys can see this, follow this timeline, because this is a very important timeline. All right. Woman in the center of the Last Supper posted that she depicted Olympic Jesus despite Olympic statement threat. Here we go. After heavy backlash against the Olympics for what many have said is a drag queen parody of the Last Supper, the Olympics disagreed, saying this. Here's an Olympics post. Seats. The interpretation of the Greek god Dionysus makes us aware of the absurdity of violence between human beings. You don't even matter to be mentioned that you're being disrespectful. However, the woman in the center of the crowd around the table said differently on social media. That's Barbara Butch, sharing posts that have defended the Last Supper depiction, as well as posts saying that she was the Olympic Jesus. This was found from her stories on her Instagram handle. And here it is. In a post she shared on her story, Barbara Butch, written in French, the text reads, per Google Translate, sorry but, pardon-moi, Barbara Butch as Olympic Jesus, the French team, boat arriving on Johnny. The statues of important women in French history, Barbara Butch playing DMs in front of billions of viewers around the world. There you go. Let me stop you and tell you that right here. People were sitting there with their small children and their families. Billions of people. Like she said, Barbara Bush playing DMs in front of billions of viewers around the world. Small children, all types of youth, Christians, everybody watching. And what is the number one thing? Sorry, but Barbara Butch as Olympic Jesus. Here she is. Here's her post. She's reposting what has happened. She's in agreement with it. The medal-winning grandpa and Celine Dion on top of the Eiffel Tower. 1,000 references to drag, race, France, and queer culture. Thomas Jolly, president of the world, in fact. And her reposting that. Accepting that. Knowing that. Even their sides knowing. She's Olympic Jesus. Blasphemy. Is that it? Is that my whole smoking gun? There's actually more. No, there's more. Trust me. I know, right? There's more. And we're going to get into it. We're into it now. How many minutes are we in? 32 minutes? So Butch shared a post of her getting pointed out in a line of people with the headline from NBC saying, "Drag performance resembling Last Supper." And here she is, so happy. Thomas Jolly is the artist behind the opening of the Olympic ceremony. Butch also shared posts defending it as depicted of the Last Supper as seen here. The text in this post, made by the user, Baptiste Ballou, are shared by Butch translates to this. I see people getting indignant about this passage. I would like to know if they were indignant when. So she knows. And then user Baptiste Ballou gave several examples of the Last Supper being depicted in other ways. Nintendo did it, all of this. So now they're saying, well, everybody else did it, and you guys weren't offended. Yeah. Butch also shared this post that I have seen from multiple accounts describing the image as the gay New Testament. There she is, sharing it. Oh yes, the new gay testament. And of course, the headset that she had created, similar to, I mean, come on. But then guess what she did? Guess what Butch did? Butch began to backtrack in different Instagram stories afterwards, saying that this was the interpretation of the Greek god Dionysus, or the Feast of the Gods, perhaps realizing that the Olympics posted this issue, that this statement from the Olympics was posted on 4:10 Eastern Standard Time. So she realized, but this screenshot is on Sunday at 8:34 a.m. Eastern, and the story was posted 21 hours before on Saturday, likely around 11 a.m. or so. In other words, the center person in the portrayal was posting that she was depicted as the Olympic Jesus in the Last Supper, even as the organization was trying to backtrack. So now you're being lied to. And now you have the evidence. And this evidence exists, and you still don't got an apology. The post from Butch suggests, in contrast to the Olympic statement, that this was indeed the Last Supper. The Olympics have apologized, saying they never had an intention to show disrespect to any religious group, which is a lie. So they're apologizing with a lie, which is not a true sorry. And then it was supposed to celebrate community tolerance while disrespecting a community of billions. The organizers said, of course, we're really, really sorry if people got offended. It's not the same as an apology. Well, I'm sorry if you got offended. Everybody knows the crappy person that says that to them, and the way that type of person says that, it's not really an apology. The fact still remains the main person in the center of the betrayal was posting in defense of it being the Last Supper, and posted about her being the Olympic Jesus, as the Olympics were saying otherwise. Paris Olympics producer says, the Last Supper inspired that opening ceremony scene. Many have done it before, but not as disrespectfully and blasphemous as you, Thomas Jolly. No. And so, yeah, what was it? It was a mixture. They got the Greek god Dionysus. They got the Last Supper. They're mixing it all together. Everybody's like laughing. I saw the comment like, well, so what's the grape? The blue guy is the Holy Spirit. No, silly. That guy right there is a fusion, just like they used to do back in the day. They'd fuse all these gods, all these. And I'm not saying that they're making a new religion. Believe me, I'm not. And I'm not in the outfield. They just fused a bunch of stuff together. Artsy, right? Getting artistic. They're pulling from. We will pull from the Last Supper. We will pull from Dionysus. We will put this together. We will make our own thing. But Barbara Butch knew she was trying to be the Olympic last Jesus. And Barbara Butch makes no apology. And you know who else makes no apology? Paris 2024. The same people who oppose all forms of discrimination, except for discrimination against Christians, and attacks, except for attacks against Christianity, that are in every way contrary to the Olympic values, unless you're a Christian, that promote respect, unless you're a Christian, tolerance, unless you're a Christian, and solidarity, unless you're a Christian. And there you have it, guys. That is the smoking gun. A lot more than you get on the news, because you're not getting that right now. So let's wrap this up. What they're saying is this. Here is your what am I presenting to you tonight is irrefutable proof that they're going to stick to the narrative, that it wasn't meant to offend anybody. They've already spoke. They will not speak on this again. And they do not care that they would offend almost a quarter of the entire world. I would say more. What they are showing you is they can do whatever, however, whenever, and you, not the one who comments underneath this and says, I'm going to boycott or I'm not going to. No, you guys have always done what you do, and that's stay faithful. It really is interesting that sometimes the Bible speaks about remnants, and it really is interesting that Jesus says in the last day, many will say my name, and there will be a lot of false gospels and a lot of watered down churches. It really is interesting that when it's time for us to do something as simple as come together on a couple of things, you don't really need to do anything. You could actually go about your business. But if 25% of the world turned off the Olympics and went about their business, a slight inconvenience, be good. It would not hurt anybody. It would not cost anybody anything. Just don't watch it. But they won't do that. And I want to show you that everybody, like I said, all of you guys who usually always stand up for the faith, try to get other people involved, and you're going to a church that's telling you about this on Sunday. Your pastor's like, this is bad, guys. Like, we need to be standing in solidarity. Over 1 billion people speaking in solidarity, turning off, choosing not to participate is a huge statement. And it would be nothing. You could turn on Netflix, you could stream some Hulu, watch some Disney Plus, watch some regular TV, whatever it is, read a book, go somewhere else, disappear on social media, but not watch it. And they would know. And that is the issue that we have. Because right now, we gave you guys the hard evidence. You wanted the truth. I gave you guys truth. And let me wrap this up here. It just went on a little bit of a tangent, just saying, hey, look how easy it is for us to come together as Christians, those that believe in Jesus Christ as our Lord and Savior. Barbara Butch, the DJ, in the grand opening, where's she at here? Barbara Butch, here she is. So make sure that we can see her. Okay, because I want to give you some closing statements. Now, again, I do not support any type of violence or slander against this woman. What I'm bringing you is some terrible things that she's done, and some lies that she's made, but still, and condemning what their horrible performance that they did, that was not inclusive at all. But I'm not promoting violence or slander against this person. You need to recognize the difference. I'm not trying to feed the crazies. They don't need any help doing that. They did it themselves by, number one, doing it and pretending like it wasn't there, which probably made the crazies even more crazy, then lying to them when clearly they were lying and having this evidence. Believe me, nobody needs to help inflame the situation more than those who are the inflamers, right? So Barbara Butch, in the grand opening, she blasphemed the Last Supper. And what I want to say is she has made these claims that she wants to unite people with her performance. And so what I wanted to ask you guys as Christians is, as you're looking around maybe the room, the people that you're around, different races, different religions, man, woman, child, all different ages. When you look around and you see somebody disrespect and have no respect for you at all, and then lie to you, and then have all of the major news sources not even report on a huge story that would show that Barbara Butch is a liar, everybody not standing with you, I want you to tell me, do you feel united? Do you really feel united? Because Barbara said she was extremely honored to perform in Friday's ceremony and added, my heart is still full of joy. She has not a care in the world that she took place in something that mocked Christians. She openly mocked them It's so funny that somebody who wants inclusion and puts a little heart, they do the little heart. I don't know whose heart that's for, because you can't disrespect somebody and do a little heart and that makes it better. But they don't have a care in the world. And the Olympics lied to Christians about what happened. And they're all good with it. And they're all good with it. You don't fit the mold. And it's just crazy. So I'm going to end it on that. That's what I wanted to show you guys. I'm probably going to have to edit this around and put those smoking guns of evidence that shows that you're being lied to, that you're being played, and that you got to keep the faith, man. And does this ruin our day? No. See, a lot of people think that when we expose liars for who they are, they think that our days are ruined. Now, did I have to spend time gathering this evidence and take time out of my day, and time is my most valuable asset? Absolutely. But what I'm bringing to you is so you could cut through all the crap online. You got all these people that are posting that Christians thinking this is the Last Supper isn't even true. In a day of information, you think that truth would be more easily accessible. But truth right now in this day and age is drowned out by the noise. Imagine truth being in a stadium and its voices talking like mine, but there's tens of thousands of other voices talking, and you're looking to hear the truth. And it's hard to find the truth. And you could get it wrong sometimes. But here we are, showing you the truth, trying to cut through the crap and show you what's really real. That yes, you have been lied to. And that people who participated in the opening ceremony know that you've been lied to, and doubled back and went back on what they said and doubled down on the lie with everybody, with Paris 2024, with Thomas Jolly and Barbara Bush, all lying to you. And guess what? All of their counterparts and co-signees do. They lie to you as well. So that's what this whole thing is for, is to expose the liars for who they are. You guys all know who the father of lies is, so these type of tactics are to be expected. Nothing new under the sun. I want to add this as well. My closing remarks as well is that you made people think that they were off, that they were crazy. They made them think that they could be wrong. They made you question yourself today, because people went out and made a public statement because they were trusted, because they were put in a position, an authoritative position. They made public statements to the world and got caught in a lie, and the news didn't report it. Wake up, people. If you're voting for somebody because you watch the news, wake up. If you're mad about something because the news told you, wake up. The news tells you what they want you to know, when they want you to know, and how they want you to know. And what you don't want to know, you won't get. Here's a flaming hot story that could go on any front page and expose Paris 2024, Barbara Bush, and Thomas Jolly, and include the Vatican, and include over 25% of the world. It would be a great story. Over billions of people offended, and we're going to bring you the truth. They have no desire to bring you the truth. And it's a great story. I mean, it would sell. And they wouldn't have to retract it, nor apologize. They've made stories on less. Turn on the news. Look at the stories right now. Go to CNN.com. See what they're saying about Donald Trump right now. There's no evidence behind there. I brought you receipts, people. Jesus said, be sober, because your adversary, the devil, is like a prowling lion, seeking for who he may destroy. And that may not be the exact, don't get at me in the comments. If you want to post the verse in there, that's cool. God bless you. God, family, country. God first, family next, country. You can't be a good countryman if you're a liar. You can't be a good family member if you're a liar. You can't be good for God if you're lying about God and on God. So let's keep everybody that we spoke about today in prayer. Let's stand up. and say, not for me. As for me and my household, we will serve the Lord. Let's stay 10 toes down for the gospel, and let's do what we need to do as individuals. God, family, country, you heard it here first. The smoking gun, the liars, and we came with the truth. You know why they stay in the dark. Guys, have a good night.